Hello, this is the story behind Bloody Mess the Skabs' 6th grade field trip album. Not only was it my first album, but the very first album by Central Illinois shock rock punk rock band Bloody Mess the Skabs. We were a band that had been around for 2 or 3 years at this point. We had released one EP which had garnered national attention because of the actual artist who did the art for the first EP, but that's a whole different story. We decided we were going to do an album, but we had been playing lots and lots of gigs, and we'd had a few lineup changes, and we'd been raising a lot of hell in Central Illinois. But, we really weren't the kind of band that was wanting to be asked back to the gigs. We were the kind of band that existed for chaos. We were a chaos-based band that every time we stepped into a club, we hoped we never had to step in there again. We really wanted to be banned from every club. Our goal was to never be asked back. We were not the kind of band that was the life of the party. We were the kind of band that was the death of the party. Bloody Mess the Skabs, boy, where do I begin? We decided to do an album, and we had gone through some lineup changes, but by the time we did do the album, it was myself on vocals. Instead of Ugly Ted, he became Frustrate Ted on bass. Ty played the guitar, and we had 3 drummers on 6th grade field trip, believe it or not. The primary drums were played by Ty Smith, aka Nimrod. Rest in peace, brother Ty. He did a stellar job on that album. He played on exactly 11 songs. Then we had a guy named Jonathan, aka Thumper, who played drums on 3 of the songs, and then Gabby Scab played drums on the last song on the album, Logic is Conformity, which, for you trivia buffs, was recorded in a different session. It was recorded maybe a year earlier and was released on the Music to Make Your Ears Hurt Volume 1 compilation album on Black and Blue Records, who were based in Smithfield, Rhode Island. 6th grade field trip came out on vinyl, CD, and cassette. There were 1,000 copies of each made, and it did kind of get distributed all over the world. I'm still very grateful to Black and Blue Records for what they've done for my career and to help me get my name out there over the years. So once again, thanks to them. I will say that this album has 15 songs. Most of the songs I'm not a big fan of. A lot of the fans and friends say that this is one of their very favorite albums by me. There's many reasons why I'm not happy with it. Some of them being that my voice wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. I was still trying to figure out how to sing in the studio. Doing an EP was one thing with a certain set of songs, but with these songs in that studio, I just didn't know what to do. So when I hear the vocals, I'm like, cringe. But I did make a list, and I did listen to the album for the first time in about 20 years today, just half an hour ago. And the songs I like the best, there's about 8 of them. 6th grade field trip, My Own Worst Enemy, Broken Glass, Think of Punk Rock When You, Don't Worship Me, Mammogram Days, Not This Shit Again, and Logic is Conformity. Now, what we did for the album concept was decided to name it after one of our songs, 6th grade field trip, which is about going back and being in your youth or young youth again and just being very carefree. We decided to ask the photographer for the Peoria Journal-Star newspaper to take photos for us because he was a pro. And he had been coming to gigs, taking photos for the newspaper for various articles from some of our bad boy antics. Eric Behrens was his name, and he did come out, and we decided to go to a garbage dump because we were going to have a concept based around 6th grade field trip. We wanted to take a picture on a school bus. So one of us found a garbage dump in Spring Bay, Illinois. We went out to said garbage dump, and we found the perfect school bus. It didn't even have the engine in it. It was just all destroyed on the front end. So we all jumped up there and took pictures, and we also got pictures on the back of the bus. And of course the album was made to be bright yellow to match school bus yellow kind of vibe. So 6th grade field trip was born. We recorded down in Bloomington, Illinois. It didn't take very long to record. I think we did everything in a couple takes. I thought I knew everything. I knew nothing, and it was my fault that the sound came out very thin. The guitar, not the guitarist, but the guitar sound came out bad. It was a very thin production, combined with the vocals I wasn't happy with, so I wasn't really left with a great taste in my mouth. But a lot of people love this album. But I want you guys to know I have 10 albums in 40 years since that album, and I have a brand new one called Dark Days Unfazed. That's another story, and probably the next video I make concerning my music will be the making of Dark Days Unfazed. You know, the Skabs were known as being bad boys and very chaotic and a little bit rough, big partiers. But on this album, 6th Grade Field Trip, there are quite a few songs that do represent humor, like Mustache Man Syndrome, Think of Punk Rock When You Shit, 6th Grade Field Trip. We also had some guest stars on the record. Yep. Since we were recording in Bloomington, Illinois, I remember thinking, I got to get some guest stars, man. So, Steve-O from Impetigo, Steve-O Impetigo, the vocalist from the famous grindcore band Impetigo, came in the studio and threw down some amazing and very memorable vocals on Mammogram Days, Don't Worship Me, and Think of Punk Rock When You Shit. Anyway, Steve-O, if you're watching, man, stellar job, my man. I also did some spoken word and vocals on the first Impetigo album. If you are into that band, check it out. Unadulterated Brutality. Also, Shason Clay, the vocalist for the punk band Naked Hippie from Bloomington, he came to the studio as our guest, and he threw down some vocals on Think of Punk Rock When You Shit, and on Mustache Syndrome, which I don't remember him doing backups on that one, but the album cover says so I believe it. More trivia about the album. There's a song called Logic is Conformity, which I told you was recorded earlier than this session. Well, one of the points of contention between my record label from the beginning, one of the first things, was they decided to censor my song without even telling me. So when this song came out, they removed a line. Yes, if you know the song Logic is Conformity, there's a line that says, "When the whiskey hits me, the devil gets my soul." Well, my friends, there was one other line after that that was omitted, censored, deleted, taken out. And that line was, "When the whiskey hits me, the devil gets my soul. And he fucks me." Yeah, that's the line that was taken out. And it should have stayed in there, damn it. So the next time you hear Logic is Conformity, play it. And when you get to "When the whiskey hits me, the devil gets my soul, and me." Yeah, so there you go, my friends. There's a little trivia behind Think of Punk Rock Logic is Conformity, sorry. By the way, speaking of Think of Punk Rock When You Shit, I think Steve-O from Impetigo may have been credited with coming up with that title. I can't remember where that title came from. So Steve-O, if you were not in fact the one that came up with that, I want my credit back, okay? Anyway, I must thank everyone over the years that has bought the album, that has listened to the album, that has told me how much they like the album. Some of the people that we thanked on the album include Terry Bibo Baker, a Journal Star columnist at the time who did not like me and wrote articles about me and would, basically insult me in the paper a lot. We also thanked Beautiful Bert, Impetigo, The Great 1096, and can you believe that the album says no thanks to the Peoria and Bloomington Police Departments and the PMRC? Now you wonder, why did we say no thanks to them people? Well, for the Bloomington Police Department, they gave us a ticket on the way there, and we had no money. We were poor punk rockers, and they gave us a ticket, and it was like $60, which at the time was a lot of money. So yeah, no thanks to those guys. I will say that the album was dedicated to the very famous Central Illinois afternoon children's TV talk show hosts, Captain Jinks and Salty Sam. Yep, they're the ones that we dedicated the record to. So long live Captain Jinks and Salty Sam. Long live you for supporting me for 40 years. And this has been the story of Bloody Mess the Skabs' 6th grade field trip. Have a great day, and please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video, and best of all, make a comment, because I always comment back. Okay, my friends? Cheers! And jeers. And all these punk rock years.